My name is Jessie Payne. I am a senior, and this is my retelling of The Empty Flower Pot. Once upon a time, there was a boy named Daniel. He lived in a kingdom with a wonderful king. He was growing old and had no heir. The king announced a contest that he would give a seed to every child in the kingdom. The child who could grow the best flower out of this seed would become the heir to the throne. Daniel was excited. He loved to grow things, and he thought, I might have a pretty good shot at winning the throne. So on the appointed day, he went to the castle and received a seed from the king. And he went home and he planted it in his favorite flower pot. And he put plenty of dirt over it, he watered it, set it in the sun, and he waited for it to grow. And a few weeks passed and nothing happened. And Daniel thought, perhaps the seed needs more water. So he watered it more. And he waited and still nothing happened. And he thought, maybe the seed needs some fertilizer. So he put some fertilizer in the pot with the seed, and he waited, and still nothing happened. And Daniel thought, I wonder if something was wrong with the seeds that the king gave us. So he went to go see his friend Marco, who had also received a seed. And he went to Marco's house and he said, Marco, how's your seed doing? And Marco said, it's great, actually. Would you like to come see it? And Daniel said, sure. So he went into Marco's house, and there was his pot with his seed, and it had grown into beautiful purple blossoms. Marco said, isn't it lovely? How's yours doing? And Daniel said, I'm still working on it. He went back home and he looked at his pot and he thought, okay, I'm gonna give this another go. So he put the seed in a fresh pot with plenty of dirt, lots of water and fertilizer, and put it in the sunniest place in his house. He waited, and still nothing happened with that seed. Finally, it was the night before the flower judging. Daniel was so disappointed. And his father noticed and he said, Daniel, what's wrong? Daniel said, well, I've had this seed for several months. I planted it, I watered it, put in fertilizer, kept it in the sun. I did everything, and it didn't grow. His father said, did you do your best? And Daniel said, I did. His father said, then don't be ashamed to take your empty pot and show the emperor your best work. Daniel said, okay. So the next morning, he put on his best clothes, he took his empty flower pot, and walked with the other children to the castle, where he stood in a line in front of the palace doors. They opened, and the king came out and began to walk down the line of flower pots. And he looked at the first, which had beautiful sunflowers in it. He passed to the next, lovely snapdragons. And he passed to the next, and the next, and the next. And Daniel thought, if he doesn't love all those beautiful flowers, what is he going to think of me and my empty pot? He started to get a little nervous. The king came closer and closer, and finally he was right in front of Daniel. He stopped. He said, little boy, what is your name? Daniel said, Daniel, your majesty. And the king said, why, Daniel? You brought me an empty flower pot. And Daniel looked down at his pot and back at the king, and he said, well, your majesty, I took the seed that you gave me, I put it in a pot, and watered it, and weeded it, put fertilizer in it, kept it in a sunny place. I did everything for this seed, and nothing grew. And the king stopped, thought for a moment, and then a smile crossed his face. He turned around and said, I have found my heir. And Daniel said, I'm sorry, your majesty, I don't understand. And the king said, well, Daniel, before I gave the seeds to all the children, I roasted them. So if you followed the rules and were honest, flower seed shouldn't have grown anything. And Daniel said, but why? And the king said, well, Daniel, the king has a great responsibility to keep his people free, to help them have liberty. And the best way to do that is to have a king who's honest, who has integrity. That is the only way that freedom can be kept. And you, Daniel, would be an honest king. A few years later, the king did die, and Daniel ascended to the throne. He became a wonderful king, did many good things for his people, but the quality that he was known best for was his honesty. Thank you.